married to him. So why was he hiding from her? He'd had no problems attracting women into his arms, but as soon as he'd invited them home to the dreary depths of his underground palace, the delight in their eyes dimmed as quickly as the souls ferried through the gates by his boatman, Charon. Yet this beautiful, shining young goddess, as bright as springtime, was destined to be his. Why should he hide? This was the change he'd been longing for. He removed his helm of invisibility and stepped into the light. The goddess, Persephone, noticed him at once. She had no smile for him. Lifting a delicate wrist into the air, she used a golden bracelet to deflect the sun's rays into his eyes. He blinked against the reflection of Helios, the sun god, and when Hades looked once more for Persephone, the goddess was gone. Chapter 2. Persephone's Request. Since their meeting in the asphodel, Hades sought every opportunity to see Persephone again. So what if the fates were right? And they always were. It could be centuries before Persephone ever noticed him, and he was beginning to feel impatient. He saw her at court on Mount Olympus when Zeus laid out a plan to prevent a Titan uprising. Persephone sat stiffly and quietly on the double throne beside her mother. Hades stared at her, willing her to look at him, but she ignored him. Suspecting that Demeter had blocked others from communicating with her daughter, he left Mount Olympus that day feeling frustrated. Hades saw Persephone again at court when the gods banded together to think of ways they could help Perseus defeat the Gorgons. Persephone sat beside Demeter again, but this time seemed restless. Hades sensed that she wanted to be anywhere else but among the gods at court. But no matter how often he looked her way, she never returned his gaze. How long was he supposed to wait before his future bride became aware of his existence? He saw her a third time on Mount Olympus during the discussion of the impending war between the Greeks and the Trojans, after Eris's apple was awarded by Paris to Aphrodite, not because she was necessarily the more beautiful, but because she had the best bribe. Again he tried to get Persephone's attention, and again she ignored him. So Hades resigned himself to the fates. He would stop trying. He would stop allowing himself to get so worked up in her presence. He would be patient, if not indifferent. Their meeting was bound to happen one day. The fates were never wrong. One day he was walking among the asphodel in the same location he had first seen Persephone, after the fates had revealed her as his future wife. He found it interesting that she, too, often walked near the chasm with the flowers at her feet and the sound of the rushing falls behind her. This was one of his favorite spots in the world, for it was near one of the entries to the Underworld. But it was also bright, fresh, and full of sweet songbirds and scent. He came here to refresh his mind before returning to his duties and to the dead. This time he didn't try to speak with her. He didn't want a repeat of their first encounter. Instead, he turned his back to her and continued his walk. If the fates were right, and they always were, then there was no need for him to force a union. Today he had come directly from an argument with Poseidon about the Hydra's sinkhole. Hades was frustrated and needed to breathe in the song and the scent before descending back down into the loneliness of his chambers. He was taken by surprise with her approach. "Why do you come here?" she asked, half hidden behind an evergreen. Although he was startled, he didn't turn to look at her, afraid he would scare her off. "For the same reason as you, I suppose." He tried to keep the desperation from his voice. He'd been longing for this chance, and he didn't want to screw it up. "I doubt that," came her frank reply. Hades grinned, but she wouldn't have seen it, since he continued to keep his back to her. "Then why do you come?" "You must swear an oath on the river Styx to tell no one." This time he turned and met her steady gaze. If he had ever believed she was frightened of him, her wry smile and cool demeanor proved him wrong. He himself was trembling, and she was as firm as rock. "An oath? This must be serious." "Do you swear?" "Yes." She moved closer to him. "I come here to hide." "From what?"